Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you stopping in, talking some New York Jets football with me today. If this video is at all informative to you, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated. Where's this coming from? Playoffs or bust? Well, it's an expectation that has been set by two New York Jets team captains in CJ Mosley and Braxton Berrios, respectively, putting it out there in the public. We need to make the playoffs in 2022 or this season is a failure. Number one, love to hear that. That should be the expectation within this locker room, from this coaching staff, from these players. Absolutely. Every NFL team that feels like they have a competitive unit should have this as a goal. 14 of 32 teams get in. We're talking nearly half the league. It's not an otherworldly accomplishment. And the New York Jets should have their eyes on the postseason in 2022. Now, do I agree as a fan that if we don't make the playoffs, it's a failure? No. I could see a season where we miss the playoffs and we feel really good about how the season went and the development of our young team. Absolutely. Of course. But I'll say this. I am much closer in line with CJ's and Braxton's expectations for next year than I am with most Jets fans because, my goodness, our guy Joe C. from the Badlands, he put out a Twitter poll asking Jets fans how many games we winning next year, and 48%, nearly half of respondents, said they predict the New York Jets will win between 5 and 7 games next year, and to me that would be an abject failure. It absolutely would. Specifically, there's two myths around this New York Jets win total and the expectations for next year that I'm going to bust right now. I'm going to use some cold hard data in order to do it. Number one, the myth that we need an in-between year, that we can't go right from 4 wins to 9 or 10 wins. Too big of a leap. And that's just not true. We have precedent that shows that you can absolutely do that. There's been a handful of teams that have done it within the past 6 or 7 years alone. Last year, Cincinnati Bengals go from a 4-win team to a 10-win team. 2019, 49ers, 4 wins to 13 wins. 2017, Rams, 4 wins to 11 wins. And 2015, there was a team that won 4 games the year before and won 10 games that year. The New York Jets. We did it 6 short years ago. So it's absolutely possible. When you make radical change to your roster, you can get exponential growth, and no team has changed its roster more radically than the New York Jets. So there's no reason we can't be one of those teams. And look, 3 of those teams did it in a 16-game season. So all the excuses of stacked conference and schedule and young team, bundle them all together, stick them in one more loss, and you still can win 10 games. Absolutely. By the way, the schedule, our strength of schedule is average. Okay? They didn't do us any favors by who we're playing at the beginning. But look, first 4 games, you got Jacoby Brissett and Mitch Trubisky. Go get them. Other 2 games, you're at home. So the schedule has definitely been overblown to me. I don't buy that as an excuse. You're either a legitimate football team at some point or you're not. Now, myth number 2. It sounds something like this. We can win 6 or 7 games and it can still be successful as long as Zach Wilson plays great. That's fantasy land. If Zach Wilson's playing great, we're winning more than 6 or 7 games. In fact, I would say any way you slice it, you cannot sell me a 6 or 7 win season I feel great about. Don't buy it. Let's take a look at the teams that won 6 or 7 games last year, and let's look at their quarterback play, their defense, or their injury bugs, and you stop me when I give you an accomplishment that you would deem acceptable for the 2022 New York Jets. Stop me if I reach that. Denver Broncos, good defense, but Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock combined to give you the 26th quarterback ranking in the NFL. Washington football team, 25th in total defense, 27th in QBR. New York Giants, 23rd in total defense, 24th in QBR. Carolina Panthers, 22nd in total defense, 32nd in QBR. Atlanta Falcons, 20th in QBR, not bad, 29th in defense. The Seattle Seahawks, league average in both of these areas, but lost 91 man games to injury, making them one of the top 5 injured teams in the league. That's how you win 6 or 7 games. You're a bad team, and you either had bottom 8 quarterback play or a bottom 8 defense, or both, or you got killed by injuries. And any 3 of those things, to me, would be an abject failure. Number 1, Zach Wilson. With the amount of talent this young man possesses, with his work ethic, with the talent we've put around him, if he can't approach top 22, 21, 20 quarterback play in the NFL, year 2, that's a problem. If Robert Saleh and this defensive-minded staff, with 2 new edge rushers, with 2 really good defensive tackles, with a stable 8 deep on the defensive line, with 2 new corners, with a new safety in Jordan Whitehead, with a rock-solid middle linebacker in C.J. Mosley, with a promising athlete in Quincy Williams, if they can't coach up this defense to be at least approaching average, that's a problem. And of course, if the New York Jets are getting carted off or limping off the field, we know that would be an absolute nightmare. So it sounds like a negative argument to really construct an optimistic point. So I'm going to give, to me, Coach Saleh and Zach Wilson 3 years almost no matter what. And Joe Douglas probably even longer than that, honestly. But part of respecting their potential is having higher expectations. I respect Zach Wilson's talent, Robert Saleh's leadership, and Joe Douglas's football acumen far too much for them to roll out there, win 6 or 7 games, and me give them a noogie and say, go get them next time. No, that's not good enough because they're better than that. We're better than that. That's where I'm at. And you know who else won 7 football games? The 2019 New York Jets. And I know, a bunch of bad teams they beat, the schedule, the this, the that. No. There is no world in which this team, even if we win 7 games this year, that's 7-10. That's a worse winning percentage. There's no way this team can have a worse winning percentage than a team quarterbacked by Sam Darnold, coached by Adam Gase. Number 1 wide receiver is Jamison Crowder in the slot, with respect. And the number 1 running back is the ghost of Le'Veon Bell, getting 3.1 yards a carry. And our top 2 most talented pass rushers on that team were Jordan Jenkins and Henry Anderson. And there's no way we do worse on the final record than that team, and we're calling it anything approaching a success. So my expectations are up a level from that, and I think yours should be too. A big part of that is the talented rookies we got. Hey, made a bunch of videos with some pro comps for each of the rookies. Got Jermaine Johnson's coming up soon. Check that out. Subscribe if you're new. We'll talk ball soon.